You're listening to WGSN-DB, Going Solo Network, Singles Talk Radio channel, where we take a lighthearted and candid approach to discussions on the journey of relationship loss, divorce, parenting, being single, relationships building, dating, and yes, sex. Join our listeners and begin living your best life.
Welcome to Divorce, Dating, and Empowered Living with your host, Rosalind Sedaka. Join Rosalind each week on a journey toward overcoming life's many challenges to achieve peace, empowerment, and positive transformation. It's time to relax, unwind, and transform your life with Rosalind Sedaka.
Hello, everyone. This is Rosalind Sedaka, and you're listening to Divorce, Dating, and Empowered Living with Rosalind Sedaka on WGSN-DB, the Going Solo Network. We are always interested in inviting experts on topics related to divorce, dating, and making life work better for you. And today we have a wonderful guest who's going to share some information that I think will be of exceptional value for those who are contemplating divorce, and his name is Carl Roberts. And Carl's background involves selling software systems to large corporations originally, and that combined with his 9-year high-conflict, very expensive, emotionally and financially expensive divorce and custody battle, it inspired him to found SplitSmart in hopes of protecting families from the fate of unnecessarily ugly divorce. And as founder of the Child-Centered Divorce Network, you all know that that is a very important topic to me, making sure we can simplify divorce and make it less ugly and less difficult for the entire family, especially for the children. So, Carl, I want to welcome you. I'm very excited to have you with us today.
Thank you, Rosalind. I'm very excited to be here. Thank you.
Good. So let's dive in with this question. What do you believe is the difference between a good and an ugly divorce?
You know, it kind of boils down to just whether or not there is a bad actor involved. You know, a bad actor can be one or both, or man or woman, or lawyer or litigant. And bad actors are usually these good people who just get tripped up by their emotions or motivations or, bad advice or, sometimes it's mental health issues. Mm-hmm. But when one bad actor comes to play, then the other one, responds in kind. That's where everything just goes off the rails, and it's just entirely unnecessarily is preventable, and that's what that's what our goal is to do here.
Well, I agree with you. It can be prevented, and very often, you're right, very often one party will trigger the other, and they may both have started out looking for doing something in a reasonable, peaceful way, and when one party triggers the other gets on the defensive and then moves into another position, and suddenly you have two people battling, and once egos are out, we all know how ugly things can turn. So what do you think is the two biggest problems in the divorce process itself?
Well, I mean, it's just kind of, so when, the animosity kind of kicks in and there's some level of assets and then the emotions and everything else kind of gets somebody tripped up, at that point, everyone begins to lie about money, and the kids are put in the middle and abused as prizes and pawns. On the money side, it's because there's absolutely no governance in the overall divorce process. No matter how litigated you are, there's just no governance and enforcement of compliance and accountability in that process. And on the kid side, it's as strange as it may seem, but, child support is at the root cause of the conflict. I mean, child support is conflict-oriented. It's not there for the benefit of the child. It's there to promote conflict. And I say that from the standpoint that, certainly my belief is that most everybody wants to support their child, but nobody wants to support the lifestyle of the ex through child support. And if we can kind of find a way to very more focus on the well-being of the child as opposed to the ex, then we've removed a lot of the conflict. We've removed the kid out of the middle. And, that's a big goal. Both the money side and the kid side are big goals of SplitSmart.
That makes a lot of sense. When you're talking about kids, if one party or both parties are more focused on the finances and getting as much as they can from the other party, and it becomes a financial showdown, then people do move into another mode, and they move into lying and hiding and evading and avoiding and doing a lot of things that create a lot of drama in the divorce process, none of which is serving the purpose of having two parents who are supposed to be loving and caring about their children, attending to their well-being if they're caught in this drama. So from what I understand, SplitSmart is a software program that's available to families early on in the divorce process so that they can eliminate the financial problems and the protecting the children problem at one time. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's a web app, and so you just go to SplitSmart.com and sign up to use it. And so it's right now as we're just now coming out to market, it's $25 for the couple, for a 3-month use, or $75 for a 12-month use. And it's got two big components of it. It's got a parenting plan in there, and I'll go into both of these. But it's got this alternative approach to child support.
Interesting. All right. Well, let's start with the kids' side of this. How does it help protect the children from being caught in the middle of the parents' conflict, which, for me, as a divorce and co-parenting coach, of course, is the most dramatic part of it all that I want to help parents ease the way for. So what are you doing through SplitSmart that's making life easier?
It's absolutely my belief that every custody battle is about money, control, and or hatred. Mm-hmm. That really, rarely, if ever, is it about the best interest of the child.
Yeah.
If it was about best interest of the child, we wouldn't have custody battles. And so, at the core of it, as I kind of mentioned to begin with, is quite often the state child support guidelines. Most of those guidelines are calculated on two things. One is based upon the number of overnights the child is with each parent. While it's easy to understand the logic of how we got there, it just could not be a more asinine prescription of how to get there, because it puts the child in the middle. The more overnights he has with me, then the less I pay her, the more I get. Again, purely conflict-oriented. It puts that financial price tag on the kid's head. So just try to eliminate that. The other thing is most of the child support state guidelines are about their income shares models. But basically in the statutory language that kind of goes underneath all that, they're really talking about lifestyle. And so trying to make sure that the child's lifestyle is the same in each household, as it was prior to divorce. Again, this is just more fuel for the fire. And, so, all right, so that's the problem. The solution is I have two parts of it. First is the parenting plan. Again, I think I got the silver bullet here. The parenting plan is not only how comprehensive in nature and how comprehensive and detailed in nature it can be, but it's really the approach in getting to that agreement. And how I approach it, so I've got the 4 different decision-making areas, and I've got 4 different schedules of school, summer, vacation, and holidays. And again, you can edit all this, and I got about 15 other miscellaneous items of first night of refusal, how to communicate, all those other fun things in there, and you can add more to it. But for each individual item, each parent can accept, reject the proposal of the other, or make a proposal of their own for each individual item, so that they can kind of go back and forth. And again, and keep in mind, we're just absolutely not counting overnights here. So as you go through the process, hopefully they can kind of negotiate on most of the items and kind of knock those away one at a time. I want joint decision making on education, and I've got the condition that they stay on the same school path as that they're on. And then my ex could say, okay, I agree or I don't agree. Here's what I want to do. And so the process, again, they can work their way through the process, reach agreement, but anywhere in there you can print this out, and so where they've got agreement is shown, but where there's disagreement on the individual item, then there's side-by-side positions about what the disagreement is of each party's position. So by the time you get to a mediator or somebody, or a divorce coach or somebody to kind of help you along, you've resolved a lot of the easy stuff. But now that mediator or divorce coach now is helping you start off at the 50-yard line instead of the other end zone.
So let me see if I have this clearly. So if we're talking about all these different financial decisions related to the children, they are on this software spelled out, and the ones where we're in simple agreement with, we both look at it and say, we want to do this, and we both check, yes, we both agree, and we go through parts of this parenting plan and quickly get through it because there's no conflict. The areas where there are conflict, both of us can express in writing our position. No, I don't want it to be every other week, I want it to be every other month, or whatever the differences are, or I don't want to do this at all. And then we're looking at the areas where there's differences of opinion, which can now be brought to a coach, a mediator, an attorney, or whoever is working with you on the financial planning.
Or the court,
Or the court directly. And it's very easy for everyone to see. The simple part that's agreed is visible, and the rest of it hones in so we could identify the areas where there may be some disagreements, and then we know where to put our energy for conflict resolution in whatever form it's taking. So we're saving time and we're saving money, and we're also honing in very quickly and visibly on the areas of differences. Am I right in what I just said?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, with the exception until we're really not dealing with financial issues at this juncture. But everything else is yes. I mean, so people, again, so while they're going through it, then they can kind of resolve some of the easier stuff. But instead of when they get to the mediator, they show up and throw up, and everybody's all over the board about what they want to do or accomplish. It's articulated side by side, point by point by point. That's the word to get going. And so in that process, again, part of my philosophy, and we'll see, I hope to prove this out over time, again, so people start to see how asinine their position may be. You know, they can recognize that hey, maybe I am the bad actor here, you know, and soften that position. You know, again, I'm trying to put some constraint on the other that really serves nobody's best interest, you know, except for my hatred. And so, again, you know, hopefully we've got some aspect of self-correcting behavior in seeing it kind of black and white. And not only I can see it, but the other can see it, and then the neutral third party can see it as well.
Or if someone is too obstinate to agree that they may have had a position that's troublesome, they may at least be able to look and say, well, I could compromise here because we could get through this and check this off the list. This is something that's doable if we both give in a little bit, and it may be more visibly viewable to see the areas where compromise are possible when you're really looking at it from this perspective on this program, which too many people don't have when they're going in front of their mediators or attorneys.
I argue that nobody has, and that you know, and really, so yeah, I'm just getting people organized for settlement and or judicial efficiency, regardless of which path you take. Because if the court sees it, they see that position over here, you know, in Colorado, you know, it's called a joint trial management certificate. If they see somebody's position that's just completely out of whack and indefensible, then the court can say, oh, no, you lose that point, we'll go over here. You know, so simple as that.
So, and again, it's clarification for every professional who's involved as well as for the parents, which makes things clearer and easier to move through. And the courts are always jammed up, so this will be a tool to help them as well. We're going to take a break real quick right now so we can identify that you're listening to WGSN-DB, the Going Solo Network. This is Rosalind Sadaka with Divorce, Dating, and Empowered Living, and we will be right back.
Hi, I'm Cece Schatz, and I want to welcome you to Going Solo Next Step. We are an innovative, transformational site with a personal touch, as we are an online, interactive, social website connecting other like-minded individuals who are adjusting to their new life of being single. Going Solo Next Step will connect and help you deal with issues such as relationship loss, divorce recovery, relationship building, transition into dating, single parenting, spiritual connection, inspirational plus personal growth, sparking your career and understanding your life path, wants, and goals. As you begin relationship building, you will enjoy Going Solo Next Step social activities and forums designed to connect you and other like-minded individuals to make great, everlasting friends. Together, we will all have fun in growing number of social groups and gatherings, both in your location and online. This and so much more is in store for you. You can join me on www.goingsolonextstep.com. I'm looking forward to being with you right there on Going Solo Next Step. See you there.
Hello, everyone. This is Rosalind Sedaka with Divorce, Dating, and Empowered Living on WGSN-DB, the Going Solo Network. And we are talking to Carl Roberts, and Carl has put together a program for families that are divorcing to help them facilitate an easier way of having divorce and getting through the financial challenges that affect the divorce, that affect child custody, and so many other related issues. And that's called SplitSmart. It's brand new, and Carl is telling us about it. And so let's go to the money side of the equation, Carl, and how does SplitSmart solve the problem of discovery gamesmanship?
Certainly when you're in court, and even for those that are more complex situations or where the animosity is still there, but the people are trying to go through mediation or collaborative law, whatever the case, really everybody in this position is lying about money to some degree. The whole idea of self-certification of compliance is a joke. And again, I mentioned it to begin with, but that the courts have no ability to independently monitor, validate, and enforce a party's compliance is really, the lack of governance, which creates the whole problem here. So SplitSmart was really, originally founded as a discovery platform that can double as a compliance platform for the court if you go that way. I treat each individual disclosure or discovery item as an individual inventory item, and with that, and because I do that, then I enable opposing party audits. So, I can send over my bank statement and my ex can say, yeah, that's a bank statement, and they accept it into a common repository folder. Or they may say, no, that's a screenshot, give me the full bank statement, so that they rejected it. So I've got that audit ability in there. And I've also got tracking ability, because now I've asked for something 3 times, and you say you gave it to me 4 times, but none of those 4 times it was legible. I can see the full history of what was provided and when it was provided. So if we get to the court standpoint, then again, a court can, with a click of a button, can see the history and see solve that argument fairly easily. And then I have a dashboard. Well, as I go through the intake, it identified that I owe 50 documents that I need to collect, upload, and share. And then I've shared 40 of those. 5 are still outstanding, and 5 are in dispute. That level of dashboard just starts to instill the accountability, and so now just whether it's a mediator that's, kind of helping manage the process, and again, we don't come to mediation until, everybody has, met their obligations of the disclosures. I mean, the couple, the professionals, and certainly the courts waste immense amounts of time in dealing with all this BS. And I do believe so. I think I've solved that problem in a large way. And one other aspect of it all is that just like you do with QuickBooks, I can directly connect with most of bank accounts, credit cards, financial institutions. And so I can so the first time that you log in, it pulls the last 12 months of transactions within that account, creates a PDF statement, and puts it into your folder for you to then share with the other party. And then throughout the process, and with the click of the button, then I'm updating the current balance in that account. Again, so now we've got valid data, it's real time, and we've simplified the process immensely, and with the goal of having everybody be more transparent, avoid the gamesmanship, and get to more equitable resolution more simply and inexpensively.
So do you believe that had you had SplitSmart for your own divorce, it would have made it a lot better outcome for everyone involved?
Oh, absolutely. By far, over 50% of the cost of most any litigated divorce is related to discovery. And since my divorce cost me well into six figures, and probably close to that for my ex as well, half of that would have been avoided just because of that gamesmanship. And I do think that if my app had been in existence at that point, we largely could have avoided most of the litigations, because none of it was necessary. But it would have exposed the problem.
We are grateful that you came up with this to help people who are going through the situation now and in the future, and learning from the challenges that you faced. Why don't you review with us again what the cost is for accessing this app?
Yeah, so it is. So you can go to SplitSmart.com, and I kind of talk about how it benefits couples, attorneys, mediators, as well as the courts. And so right now, because it's new to the market, I'm just kind of getting my beta users out there. It's $25 for 3 months for the couple as a whole. So one person pays $25, and then everybody's got it. And you're not really worried about the timeline of the courts. You just really what amount of time does it take you to collect and reach agreement. So in California, it takes you 6 months to get a divorce. That's all well and fine. You still just need 3 months. Get yourself organized, reach agreement. For those who are more litigated or have more complex estates, got more complex negotiation, then they may need it for a 12-month period, and then that's for $75 right now.
Okay. So what would you say are the biggest challenges in getting SplitSmart adapted to the marketplace right now for you?
Well, this is major paradigm changes. So child support, for instance, the federal government spends over $7 billion a year to reimbursing the states for child support enforcement. My vernacular is that none of that is helpful to the kids. But the court system and the legal system is all embedded around that. So they're embedded in this adversarial system. So it is changing paradigms. It is changing perspectives. So we didn't really talk about the child support approach, but I think, again, I've got this major silver bullet for that. And then the courts, again, so it is, so lawyers, the litigating lawyers are going to be more resistant, because it does start to make everything more transparent. It does reduce the gamesmanship, so it will reduce the billings. And so with all that, it will make they're going to have it's going to be a double-edged sword for them as well.
They will be more resistant.
They will be. But it is, while the cliche of nobody wins in divorce but the lawyers has great merit, and there's a lot of truth to that. It's not always the case. Because divorce lawyers have the highest risk of not getting paid, of having grievances filed against them, and having malpractice claims filed against them. So, and that happens when there's a bad actor that came to play, regardless of who that bad actor. The bills spiraled up out of control, and somebody became dissatisfied. They walked away and said, "I'm not paying, and I'm going to file a grievance." So they are a negative impact to the lawyer's profitability. I think, again, it's a convoluted way to get in there, but I think I'm help aid not only the client, increased client satisfaction, but lawyer profitability as well.
So as founder of the Child-Centered Divorce Network, I always coach clients to hopefully keep out of litigation whenever possible, go into mediation, go into collaborative law, try to keep out of the courts whenever possible, because life is much more complicated that way. You don't always get the satisfaction you think you're looking for, and you're spending a lot more money in the process. It seems like SplitSmart would be just as valuable for people who are trying to avoid the courts as for those who are in the courts. Is that correct?
Oh, absolutely. I think, we're all starting outside the court, And so then this is just kind of, it's guardrails on the process to try to keep you out of court. But if you end up going the court route, then it's absolutely an invaluable tool. It will avoid, in a litigated divorce, it literally could avoid you paying tens of thousands of dollars unnecessarily.
That's amazing. So this is obviously such a complex issue, and I think your opening comments were very right about the fact that while both parents will proclaim the love and care about what's best for the children, too often divorces go askew and they become a financial challenge. They become battles about who can afford more time in the courts, who can afford to play more games in the process, and the family never wins as a family. My biggest concern is about how you co-parent ahead once the divorce is over and two parents have been in battle for so long. How can you possibly co-parent effectively, cooperatively, harmoniously for the children? Do you have any comments about that?
Again, it's just the bad actors, and again, we're all susceptible to that. I mean, I'm certainly not gender blaming, and I'm certainly not putting it on any one person, anybody in particular. But absolutely, I've got a close friend going through it right now. But it is exposing the problem, and if we can remove the financial incentive of custody, and we removed, one of the three major deals of money, control, and hatred out of the equation. Children are abused in absolutely every custody battle, to one degree or another. And if we can the more we can separate money and kids, the more we can solve both problems more easily.
Yeah, well, I agree with you about that. And while I don't focus on the financial side of the equation, certainly I recommend working with people who are very child-centered in these kinds of discussions, and that's why I was very happy to interview you and let people know about this new option. So why don't you give us your closing thoughts about why SplitSmart is the right way to go when you're having a divorce as a family?
Yeah, I mean, if you've got assets and or kids, one or both, it is just you've got to get organized, and then your goal is to get to your own happily ever after separately. It is not about playing games. It's not about being entitled. It's not about who loves who more or who's the better parent. All that is just abusive thinking to everyone involved. And you're harming your child, you're harming yourself, and you're not serving anybody but your own emotions at the time. Yeah, it is, start down the right path. Do not, avoid court at all costs, because it will cost you everything if you go to court. Go to SplitSmart.com, check us out, $25, you can't lose, and let me know what you think. I look forward to helping millions of families. I look forward to changing paradigms. I think this is going to be one of the greatest social impacts of our time. And
well, I'm inclined to agree with you that this is a real positive asset for everyone. I'm so glad you had the opportunity to talk to our listeners, and I agree, go to SplitSmart.com and check it out, because this can be a tool, and then give it to the professionals you're working with to simplify the process through every step of the way. So thank you, Carl Roberts. It's been a pleasure talking with you, and lots of luck with SplitSmart.
Rosalind, thank you so much. This is my first, and I'm excited, and really excited to hear from all your listeners.
Absolutely. So I want to remind everyone that as founder of the Child-Centered Divorce Network, I have a free ebook for you if you go to childcentereddivorce.com, and you could pick that up right off the homepage. I also have several books on divorcing with children, co-parenting effectively, managing anger, and other facets related to divorce and co-parenting, so you could make the best decisions for yourself and for your children to protect the family and make sure your divorce becomes a positive outcome for everyone in the family. And again, all of that is available at childcentereddivorce.com. I look forward to talking with you again next time. This is Rosalind Sedaka with WGSN-DB, the Going Solo Network, with Divorce, Dating, and Empowered Living. Thank you so much. Bye-bye for now.